In this video, we'll continue with our checkout form and we'll review cart totals. So our form currently has a section for cart totals, and you've seen this already in our checkout, and we need to add the appropriate code to support this because right now we have a problem. The total quantity is 0 and the price is 0, and we need to update that. Now let's take a look at our cart service publishing messages and events. So recall that we send messages and events to other components in our application. For example, the cart status component will subscribe to the cart service, and the cart service will publish messages for the total price and the total quantity. And we've already implemented pub sub in our application. The next set of slides, I'm simply just going to do a refresher, a review of the code that we have in place because it'll apply to the new things that we're going to add to the checkout form. So remember, in our application and interaction, we have our product list component in the top left, we have our cart status component in the top right, and then down in the center we have our cart service. And so our cart status component will subscribe to the cart service for events. We'll add some items to our shopping cart that'll send data over to the cart service. And then the cart service will publish those events to all subscribers. So since the cart status component is a subscriber, it'll read those events and update the user interface for the total price and quantity. And again, we already have this functionality in place. This is simply a quick refresher. So let's look at the coding here for the cart service. So in the cart service, we have a subject for total price and a subject for total quantity. And so remember, a subject is a subclass of observable. We can use the subject to publish events in our code, and the event will be sent to all subscribers. And so this cart status component, they simply subscribe to events on these given subjects. So now with the cart service to actually publish events, so in our cart service, we had this method compute cart totals. We'd set up a price and a quantity value. We'd simply do a little for loop through all of our cart items to compute the totals, doing the math accordingly. And then we publish the new values so all subscribers will receive the new data. So at the bottom here, I have this.totalprice.next, total price value, this.totalquantity.next, total quantity value. So this will actually publish the events to all subscribers, one event for total price and one event for total quantity. And so this will kind of accomplish step 3 here of publishing those events to all subscribers. And now a bit more on the cart status component to subscribe to the cart service. So in our cart status component, we have this total price, total quantity. We simply inject the cart service into the constructor. We do this update cart status, and then we actually write the code here to subscribe to those events. So I've subscribed to the cart status for total price by saying cart service.totalprice.subscribe. So when those new events are received, we'll make the assignments to update the UE accordingly. So that's for total price. And then we do a similar subscribe for total quantity, the exact same thing. Okay, and again, we already have this coding in place, just giving you a quick refresher to kind of get you back up to speed. Now, using this pub sub, we can actually take a similar approach for the checkout component, but I like to say almost. So the checkout component is going to subscribe to events from the cart service. However, since the checkout component is instantiated later in the application, we'll actually miss out on some of the previous messages. So as a result, this checkout component cart totals will erroneously show 0 for quantity and 0 for price. And that's not good. We somehow need to get a replay of the messages that we missed earlier. So we need to have a replay on the messages. And this is kind of similar to the real world, right? You're running a meeting. There's always that one person on your team who shows up late. Hey, sorry I'm late to the meeting. Can you tell me what I missed? And then you're like, oh gosh, really? Show up on time next time. But anyways, we'll be nice and say, okay, great. We'll replay the previous messages for you. Okay, and so we can get this functionality with the replay subject. Replay subject. So recall the subject is used to send events to subscribers. So the replay subject is a subclass of subject. So it'll also replay events for new subscribers who join later. It actually keeps a buffer of the previous events and will send these to the new subscribers. So this will cover that case of, hey, sorry, I'm late to the meeting. Can you tell me what I missed? And we'll be like, hey, no problem. We got you covered. This meeting is being recorded. And here's a replay of everything that you missed. We're going to be really nice at this meeting. Now let's look at how a subject works without replay. Okay, so we're doing this without replay. So in the top left, I have the cart service, total price, subject. We have our timeline going left to right. We have our cart status component. They'll subscribe to the total price subject. Then we do some operations on our shopping cart. We have some events coming through for A, and then we have another set of events coming through for B. And so later on, we'll instantiate the checkout component and it'll actually subscribe. And so it'll only receive the new events after subscribing, right? So we don't have any replay in place. We're not recording the meeting. So sorry, we can only tell you about the new stuff that happens since you've been here at the meeting. All right. So that's how subject works without replay. But again, let's be nice here and let's record the meeting here. So we'll have this replay subject. So again, up top, we have our cart service, total price. The one thing that's new, it's a replay subject. We have our cart status component that will actually subscribe. So we get these events A and these events B. And then we have our checkout component, and this checkout component subscribes late, but no worries here. Replay events for new subscribers who join later. So they're going to receive these because of the replay, because this meeting is being recorded. So they'll get those items A-OK. So this will cover the use case if they show up to the meeting late and they need to find out what they missed. And then of course, they'll get all the new events that come online too. That's kind of how the replay subject works and how it's different than the normal subject without replay. So now, as far as the coding changes to use a replay subject, it's really simple. In your cart service, instead of having subject, you simply change that to replay subject. And that's it. It'll keep a buffer of the previous events and it'll send those previous events to all new subscribers. And you can also configure this. You can tell it the size of the buffer, so on and so forth. And so for more details on the replay subject, see the online docs, go to the link here on the slide. It'll redirect you to the official documentation for replay subjects, and you can get all the configuration details.